Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans. Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of the past week's top stories. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there. Ron, how are you tonight?
I'm ready to get this started. We have a lot of big stories this week.
A lot of big stories, a lot going on, a lot of changes going on in the
It's going to
world.
be
I
a
don't
great
know.
show.
I think so. Listen, if you are joining us live, we ask that you join our chat. Let us know what you think about the topics we're covering, or if there's something you want to talk about. Doesn't necessarily have to be sports related, as long as it's not politics or religion. We'd be glad to talk to you about it as well. So join that chat. Let us know what you think. We also want to thank all of our wonderful listeners out in Dallas, Georgia, WDJY 99.1 FM on every Saturday, as well as WBOB 990 in Providence, Rhode Island, and SEC TV Public Access Channel 12 every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. We want to thank you all for your support. And we're going to tell you how you could also become a sponsor of our show later on. So if you're interested and you like what you're watching and you want thousands of eyes and ears on your business, you'll be able to get that information tonight and sponsor our show, or get it right now as well. So here's an opportunity for you to get your name all over the
I always
Sports
take those
Unfolded
opportunities when they're given.
100%. We are on episode 15 of season 5, Gr8-95.
No, it's just Gr8-95.
Oh,
the
great.
8 is part of
95.
the...
I see what you did there. Great. Okay. Gr8-95. So again, every title has a meaning. You'll find out why shortly. But let's start off round with our lead-off story, and that's Mike Malone. He was fired by the Denver Nuggets with 3 games left in the regular season. They are obviously in the postseason. What do you think caused this breakup? What was the reason why Denver would make such a drastic move going into the postseason?
There is some speculation that they don't see eye to eye. Owner, coach, GM. I guess the front office part of it is all messed up. This is the first time they ever lost 4 in a row under Malone. It makes no sense to me at this point in the season. Looking on the sidelines, it looks like Nikola Jokic is going to be the head coach too.
I did see that, right? He was running plays. I'm going to tell you, the way I felt is Jokic didn't want Malone anymore. Maybe got tired of his style or his coaching style. A lot of players said that he works them hard. He's difficult. Again, 2 years ago, everybody loved him. He got him to a championship. I would question, with 3 games left in the regular season at this point. Again, they won their first game without him now against the Kings, but you start to question the mentality of the ownership and where they're really looking. They say they still have that championship DNA and they're going to try to win regardless. You don't fire a guy that's your all-time winningest coach, 471 wins. He's almost a 60% winning percentage.
Yeah, and your GM at the same time. It makes no sense to do that. Now, with that being said, when you hire another GM, that's when a coach comes, and I get that. But I would have said, hey, look, if you don't want the GM, you fire the GM first. You let the new guy come in and look at the team, what he's got, and then let him make the changes.
Yeah, there's obviously a reason why they did it. And I'm going to say, to me, it's the players. The players didn't want him anymore. But I will say this. If you think about it, they're 4th overall in the Western Conference right now. OKC, Houston, and the Lakers are ahead of them. Looks like their first-round matchup right now, if it was to end, would be the LA Clippers, who are playing very good basketball. I think this puts them at a disadvantage. I really, a coach with 3 games of regular season experience is not going to be able to go into this upcoming postseason, especially against like a Ty Lue who's been there, won a championship, and be able to figure out playoffs are a lot different than the regular season. Matchups change, your roster your bench gets shorter, right? We make sure
Counting
that
on that experience.
yeah. So I don't, if this was me as an owner, I'm not telling my fans that my best interest is to try to continue a championship DNA and win this year. If this is the move I make, that does not tell the fans that's the expectation.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It makes you wonder what was really going on behind the scenes, because there had to be some things that weren't kosher for the team to do this at this point of the season. I don't know. I don't think it's because you can't win. I don't think it's because you went into a slump. I mean, since the All-Star break, right? They were 12-13. So,
Ron, you said it. They went into a slump, 4-game losing streak. Did the team quit on them? And the ownership said, look, we've got one option here is to get rid of him, because otherwise they're pretty much saying they're not going to play for this guy.
Yeah, but again, I add to it is like, then why the GM as well? It didn't make any sense to me.
Maybe they both
so
such a good relationship.
I don't know. This is an interesting one, and this is going to be a big question leading into the playoffs. And it could have some very bad turnout for the situation. And if that happens, the team is going to probably be changed a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the talent's there, right? Michael Porter Jr., Murray, Jamal Murray, obviously Jokic and what he brings to the table. But again, you got to also look at injuries. I don't know. Again, it'll be interesting to see. So
there's some rumblings that Gordon and Murray didn't get along.
Well, again,
there's some turmoil in the locker room. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, if it's the turmoil in the locker room situation, that is on your coach, and that could be a reason.
I will say this though: 2 years ago, you're in the finals and won it. Like
right?
How bad could it have gotten in 2 seasons? But I wanted to have a little bit of fun, Ron. I don't know. So all-time winningest coach in Denver Nuggets history, Mike Malone, 471 wins. He had 327 losses. For 80 games, 44-36 in the postseason again, but did have the championship. So, and again, 8 games over 500. Do you know, Ron?
Probably not.
There's
probably not.
Who are the other 2 coaches? Who is second and third overall? Don't know. All right.
I can't even think of any other coaches right now.
Doug Moe from 1980 to 1990.
Doug Moe.
432 wins. And then George Karl from 2004
I forgot about George
to
Karl.
2013 had 423 wins. That's when he had Carmelo and Iverson and all them.
Yeah, he had a good squad.
All right, Ron.
Like, it's weird that I couldn't think of any coaches at all.
Yeah. So,
and yet I'm looking back at this team, and you remember a lot of the players that have been there.
Oh yeah, right.
And it's like
even like Mutombo, that team. That was the first time an 8 seed beat a 1 seed. Mutombo holding, right? Chris Mullin.
Wait,
it's not.
No, that's not.
That's the Warriors.
Yeah, that's the Warriors.
That's close.
So I don't remember anything of Denver.
All right, we got one more though. Right? One more. Do you know, Ron, which former Celtic player was the previous coach before Mike Malone? So this former Celtic player was their head coach prior to Mike Malone taking over 10 years ago now.
Wow, I feel like I'm gonna be
If you need
stunned.
another hint after, I could give you another hint.
I keep thinking of Chauncey Billups, but it's not.
It's definitely not Billups.
Was he a player from the 80s?
Yes, 80s, 90s.
Was it McHale? But I
No.
think McHale was Minnesota.
Yes. Played for the Lakers as well.
I can't.
Point guard.
I can't.
No?
Was it Rondo?
No. Brian Shaw.
Oh, my
Brian
God. Really?
Shaw was the head coach for 2 seasons before Mike Malone took over. And obviously it's been a 10-year run. Fired after 3 games.
I don't know my Denver Nuggets history. I
Yeah,
guess.
79 games you coached, and then they boot you. I don't know. It just blows my mind, but we will have to see how they do in the postseason, because I think it'll really come to fruition if they have a bad postseason. If they get swept in the first round, don't look.
Clippers are playing.
Clippers is playing very good basketball right now.
They should try to get ahead of LA if they were smart.
Yeah. Well, I think I would just change home court. Oh, you're saying the Lakers. The Lakers.
Play 6.
You're saying the Lakers. Yes.
Yeah, they need to pass the Lakers up to get in a position where they should win.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that 2 games, I don't think they can get there. Well, Ron, great NBA talk. If you are joining us live, I haven't seen anybody on that chat yet.
There's plenty of people watching.
Let us know what you think. Were the Denver Nuggets right to fire Mike Malone right before the postseason? And if you think so, tell us why. I'd love to hear this, because these are one of these, sometimes in sports things happen and you go, I just don't get it. And we'll talk another NBA story after, and that was probably another one of those like, what were they thinking type deals. But for now, Ron, we're going to move on. We're going to talk some NFL. And I don't know if you particularly into the, cryptic messages that players and coaches, when they tweet or Instagram or whatever they want to do. But this was the actual Instagram that TJ Watt put out. It has now been removed from his Instagram. But is this a sign that he's possibly leaving Pittsburgh, Ron?
What did he say in that said post?
It wasn't any, he just left it that way, like basically peace out.
Wait, he just put the picture?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's not good.
Right. Like,
that's not good. That's an interesting one, because I don't know if there's a problem with TJ Watt. Does he think that he deserves more money?
Well, he's in the final year of his contract, so obviously that's going to come up. He's on a 4-year deal at $112 million.
So then that makes a little more sense. I don't think he wants to play without a deal.
I think that's kind of where he's heading. So he looked at, so in 8 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers, around 121 games, he has 108 sacks, 331 solo tackles, and 33 forced fumbles, right? What a great career so far. Myles Garrett, who just signed a deal, 4 years, $160 million, $40 million average annually. In 117 games, so 4 less games, 102.5 sacks, so TJ Watt has more. 250 tackles, TJ Watt has more. And 20 forced fumbles, TJ Watt has more.
So it is all about a contract.
I would think so.
Because he knows he's been injured a lot lately.
Hold on, there's one more player. Max Crosby, who just signed his deal, 3 years, $106.5 million, which is $35.5 million annually on average. 95 games, so obviously less than Watt, but 59.5 sacks, 233 solo tackles, and 9 forced fumbles. TJ Watt's looking for probably $45 to $50 million a season, because if Max Crosby can get 35.5, and he's got better numbers than Myles Garrett, who got 40.
He's not getting it in Pittsburgh.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, is that his sign, basically saying, like, I'm done, we're out?
Yeah, now that makes more sense knowing that he's in his final year. He does not want to play and risk getting hurt and then not being able to sign with somebody next year. He wants a deal now, so that way he has some security. And if Pittsburgh doesn't do it, I don't see him playing until he gets a contract. He needs an extension or he won't play.
Yeah,
I think he's going to hold out.
I agree. So do you think these players really do try to send a message when they do this stuff? Like, a lot of people look into this.
It appears so.
Yeah.
I think that it's a clever post.
So if I post on Sports Unfolded one day that same thing on a Friday, Ron, do you think that means, like, I'm done? I'm not coming back. How would you? That's what I'm saying. Is that what you would think?
I would probably trade you to another podcast.
Wow, that hurts. That hurts a little bit. That.
We'd give you the Stephen A. money.
All right, I'd take that. All right. Stephen A. money.
He'll have his picture on it and everything.
Does TJ Watt?
Maybe we can get one of those new Trump coins for you.
Oh boy, yeah, please. I'll put it right up there. I got a little spot.
Get a spot for it too.
Yeah. Does TJ Watt leave Pittsburgh?
I would say so. I think they're going to end up having to treat, because they're not going to give him that money. They're not going to give him $50 million.
I wonder what is. Hold on, actually, I can do this right now. Go ahead. I'm going to see what their salary cap is right now. I wonder what they have for money.
Yeah, but they just don't do that. They don't give the big bucks. They never have.
Pittsburgh
currently
currently
has. How many times have
has
we seen players walk because they don't want to pay them?
$32 million. So I'm sure they could work something out. I'd be surprised. I just think because
they only have $32 million.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think
that's going to Aaron.
If you think about it, they pay less offensively. Defense is
that
what
could be another reason why he wants.
He may want out. Yeah, Aaron. They're like, oh, we might get Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, peace. I'm done. Get me out now. I don't want to be part of this mess. I could see that. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Aaron Rodgers is coming. Yeah, I'm out. Or he's telling Aaron Rodgers, well, how about this cryptic message, Ron? If you come, I'm out. Like, maybe that's directed right to Aaron Rodgers. Like,
it could be. Look,
you come,
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, how many players must, think differently of Aaron Rodgers with all the stuff that he's pulled the last 2 years? When you look at that roster was built very well and should have been a playoff team.
Yeah, New York. Yeah. Listen, and we know nowadays in sports, I heard a great story. I guess and I haven't watched it, but there's a Celtics series that's out right now that, and I think it's on Hulu. I'll get the information later. But I will say this. They were talking about the 80s and how much the players, because that's whatever the episode was, and how much the players hated each other. Like Detroit and Boston. It's not like today where all these guys dapping it up at the end. And stuff so it's the same in the NFL. So you can't tell me that these guys don't talk to each other and have these relationships out, even though they don't play for the same teams, that people may have told him, like, hey, listen, this guy's a problem. This guy is going to ruin your organization. And TJ Watt, with all the pride and what he's meant to Pittsburgh, might say, hey, I don't want to be a part of that. This might be a bargaining chip for him to say, listen, if you guys decide to bring him in, I'm out.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could be that, right? I mean, it's a lot different 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there would never be a Red Sox Yankee trade. 20 years ago, there would never be a Bruin Toronto Maple Leaf trade. But yet we're seeing it.
We don't even like each other still to this day, because that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to be. These guys nowadays, it's like, holy cow, man. Oh, let me get your jersey and let's exchange phone numbers and let's meet for dinner.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? This is why
Yeah.
sports has gotten to a point sometimes where it's soft, man. It's soft. I hate to say it that way, but it is.
It's soft.
I'd love to
Very,
see people get,
very.
At least don't like each other. I'm not saying yes.
I blame it on LeBron.
No, I don't know. Social media. That's the problem.
LeBron.
Now it's social media, dude, because all these guys post now and then, oh, look, so-and-so liked my post. And okay, so now we got to be friends. Or, hey, heard you coming to town. And now all of a sudden it's like, hey, we've got to get together.
Back in the day, you would bleed for your teammates and despise the other team.
I saw a post the other day, too. It was like, oh, you're saying LeBron, who they had him with his shirt off, all jacked up. Yes, he's a great physical specimen. But they had a picture of Bill Lambert, and you're like, oh, this is why LeBron wouldn't last in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, do you realize how much LeBron would get hit? He doesn't even get hit now when he flops. Those days, they hit. They flat out, they put an elbow in your head.
Go down the lane, you're getting hit by 5 guys.
Yeah, like it wasn't even close. So a lot of in the NBA right now too, there's a lot of talk, the old time players versus current players, and you're hearing a lot of chat. Shaq just came out, Barkley again. Like these guys are really not happy with some of the stuff that LeBron comes out, says Giannis could score 250 points in the 70s. Like, what are they doing? These guys, I don't get it. I don't get it, Ron. But hey,
It's these entitled new generation of players that haven't had to work as hard as other players in the past.
Dude, it's crazy. Obi Toppin, who plays for the Pacers, his brother is in college, and they had a good run in the tournament. The school is paying his brother $4 million to stay in college. Like, that's where we are in sports today. And I'm not saying these players didn't deserve to get paid in college, because those schools were making a lot of money. But now this kid comes in, he's already $4 million richer before he even hits.
I don't think college players should be paid by the colleges. If they want to get a job and earn that way by sponsors, I have no problem with that.
That's who's paying them. Boosters, not the school.
You know what they can boost, right?
Hey, that's 2 today. Look at you, buddy. All right, my friend. Good NFL talk. If you are out there, because I haven't seen a chat yet, I want to know, is TJ Watt staying in Pittsburgh? I am curious. I hope everyone out there is curious. Let me know what you think. What do you think is going to happen with TJ Watt? Is he out? And is it because of Aaron Rodgers possibly going to Pittsburgh?
What do you think that they do at this moment? Will they let him go?
Oh, boy. And how many viewers just left because of that? All right.
None. They all just, 5 more just jumped up.
Oh, yeah, 5 more joined. Well, Ron, you know what time it is? I'm glad you said 5, because it is time for starting 5.
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
3, 2, 1.
This is for my boy Chakra. I said, you know what? Seattle market. I said, I'm going to do something fun. Let's have some fun. And we're going to do our starting 5 for the Seattle Supersonics. Obviously no longer around. Oklahoma City Thunder. Strictly the Seattle Supersonics. Not anybody that's on OKC.
Not eligible.
So we are going to have some fun. You are first this week, Ron. So I can't wait to have your honorable 5 mentions before your 5 starting 5. So Ron's starting 10.
I definitely needed 5 honorable mentions.
You're off.
I could have done 7.
I can't with you. Go ahead. Your honorable mentions. I'll say Aaron Sleep.
Yeah, I could have had 7, but I did not put Tom Chambers and Nate McMillan in there.
Okay.
I
have Nate McMillan in my honorable mention.
He was the bubble of the bubbles.
You know what? You're giving me bubbles. Ron, you know
All
where
right.
you can put your bubble?
My fifth.
I cannot.
My fifth.
Come on.
Honorable mention is Vin Baker.
Okay. You just want to say names. I don't think you.
I do. I like saying names.
I
have everybody ranked. I have them like 1 to 50.
Okay. Oh, geez. What are your 45 honorable mentions, Ron? Go ahead.
45. Yes. My fourth honorable mention is the X-Man Xavier McDaniel.
Made my honorable mention.
He had to be in there for me.
Yep, absolutely.
He was. Him. Look, could you imagine him in this league?
He was a
bad, oh my God.
Yeah, he was a bad man. And listen, you know what ruined him? Going to the Knicks. He should have never went to the Knicks, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Xavier McDaniels, Nate McMillan, both on my honorable mentions.
Honorable mention number 3, Fred Brown.
May have made my list.
My honorable mention number 2, Detlef Schrempf.
Yeah, I didn't like
honorable
his numbers.
mention.
I didn't like his numbers. Not for the Sonics. He was much better in Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, he still put up 16.6 points, 6.3 boards, 4 assists, made it to 2 All-Stars, was an All-NBA.
Okay.
You know, those are pretty good numbers.
Not bad.
My bubble guy, and you're going to find this hard to believe, Sean Kemp did not make my top 5.
Wow.
I'm looking at the numbers: 16.2 points, 9.6 boards, 1.8 assists, 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA, and he couldn't make my list.
Something wrong with you. All right. The one honorable mention that you didn't mention that I have, Ray Allen. So Nate McMillan, Ray Allen, Xavier McDaniel were my 3 honorable mentions. All right. Well, it is time finally. Thank you, Ron, to get into our starting 5. So at number 5, who do you have?
Gotta be thorough, Eric.
Who do you have?
My number 5 is Ray Allen. His numbers were fantastic. 24.6 points. 8 more points per game than Sean Kemp. Although I like Sean Kemp as a player. You know, I do. Probably my favorite Seattle player, but I didn't put him in the top 5. 4.6 boards, 4.2 assists, 4-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA. He only played, 4 years, I believe, for Seattle.
Yeah, and then he went to the Bucks.
So he was good enough to get there.
All right.
Be top 5.
So you did points per game. See, I do it by total points. So Fred Brown for me is number 5 because he is second all-time in Seattle Supersonics history in points with 14,018 points. Second all-time in games played. Third in steals with 1,149. Third in assists with 3,160.
Also a
one
championship.
All-Star and one of the players on my list that has a championship from Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Fred Brown at 5 for me. So at 4, Ron.
Jack Sigma.
Okay.
I love his numbers. His numbers are good. Averaging a double-double, 16.8 points, 10.8 boards, 3.3 assists, 715 games played. Hall of Famer, 1 championship, 7-time All-Star, and 1 All-Defensive. He did it on both sides of the ball, and I really like that, and his numbers are just outstanding. What a great player he was, Jack Sigma.
All right. At 4 for me, I had Rashad Lewis.
That's a good one.
Fourth in points overall, 10,251 points. 5th in rebounds, 4th in blocks. He did have the 1 All-Star. When they were kind of going through that transition right before they moved.
He's that lunch pail guy.
He was the guy. He was their player.
Oh.
So Rashad Lewis at 4 for me.
Yeah.
Who do you have at 3, Ron? Who do you have at 3?
Number 3, I have Lenny Wilkens. Didn't he just make my Atlanta list?
I think he did. Yes.
And here he is now in Seattle's. Like, I'm looking at his numbers. His numbers are fantastic. 19.5 points per game, 5 boards, 9 assists per game, Hall of Fame, 3-time All-Star, and 1 assist title. I mean, his numbers are spectacular. I mean, I like the numbers. I just think, I don't think he had enough to get that championship, but I think they won the championship like a year after he left, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he was on that 79 team that won it.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was?
Jack
All right.
That's good. Yeah. At 3 for me, I don't know how you'd keep him out. Sean Kemp, 5th all-time in points, 2nd all-time in rebounds with 5,978. Who's the best blocker ever in Seattle Sonics history? Sean Kemp, number 1 all-time in blocks with 959 blocks, 5 All-Stars and 3 All-NBAs. The man was he was the first jump man before Michael Jordan. Like, that was the guy that you watched fly out of.
I think he's my favorite Seattle player in history.
He flew off out of the arenas every night.
I didn't like
and then he started to look like our body type and didn't do so well. But that's another story for another day. Ron, at number 2.
Number 2, I have Spencer Haywood. Like, I looked at this guy's numbers and I'm like, wow, that is impressive. 24.9 points per game, 12.1 boards, 2.4 assists, 5-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA. This guy was a player. He was good.
Yeah, his numbers are great. Good. No, I agree with you. I went Jack Sikma at 2. And again, 3rd all-time in points, the best rebounder in Supersonics history with 7,729 rebounds, 2nd in blocks, 7-time All-Star, 1-time All-Defensive, and the championship. Jack Sikma for me at 2. And I'm pretty sure
legit.
I think we're going to have the same number 1.
We were all over the place in this one.
We were. But
this is the one main guy right here. I mean, he was
the glove.
One of the best point guards ever. In my book.
Agreed.
Like, he did it like better than most.
When we going to talk the Mount Rushmore of Seattle Supersonics?
Oh yeah. That was the one that I knew.
Yeah, first in just about everything. There's nothing he wasn't in first in. Like, he was first all-time in points scored, first in assists, first in steals. He's 3rd in rebounds, Ron, as a point guard. He was 3rd all-time.
So, numbers, right? 999 games in Seattle.
Number 1 all-time.
Right?
He played the most games.
18.2 points. This is your point guard, right? 7.4 assists to go along with those points. So not only was he an unbelievable playmaker, but this guy can just play anywhere on the court because 9-time all-defensive player. So he did it everywhere on the court. 9-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, 1-time steals leader. I mean, this is a great player, right? This is not just, an all-star. This is a great player. Yeah. Probably on the Mount Rushmore for point guards in history.
I truly think if they didn't run into Michael Jordan, they would have had one. They would have at least got one championship. Him, Kemp.
Without a doubt.
That team was just incredible. But this was a fun one. I mean, I'd like to see him bring back the Sonics. There's a lot of talk it may happen.
I hope so. I think there needs to be a team in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ron. Let's continue talking.
That was so good.
That was a good.
That was so difficult. Like, number 1 was easy.
Yeah.
2 through 7 was very difficult.
Yeah. No.
Very difficult.
I agree. All right, let's talk some more NBA though, Ron, and let's talk about the return of Luka Doncic to Dallas and the domination that he had over the Mavericks. Do you think he finally got his revenge?
I don't know. Not by the way it looks on the bench over here.
Extremely emotional at the beginning of the game, right? That you clearly had tears in his eyes. The love he has for Dallas, what that city's meant to him, you could feel that emotion. I was actually glad to see that, because we don't get to see that side of athletes sometimes, and how much they really truly care about their communities and that organization. And here's a guy that he blatantly showed that he wanted to be there. It wasn't a Luka Doncic wanted out thing.
No, he definitely did not. When you see him crying, overwhelmed by the love from the fans, I mean, that is just phenomenal. It is just phenomenal. And I do not blame the fans one bit chanting,
Fire
to
Nico.
fire.
Nico. During the
Don't
game.
blame them.
No.
It's a hard separation, right? I mean, this guy has been there for several years now, and that's his home. It is the team he started with, and look, every time somebody gets drafted, or they hope that that's the only place they go. And we've experienced that all the time during playoffs, when people get moved from team to team, during the playoffs, for whatever reason. And it's a hard thing when it's a regular player. And Bruins fans know with Brad Marchand leaving, right? I mean, it's that kind of deep relationship between fan and player, and the fans clearly love this guy.
Oh,
I mean, it's hard not to, right?
Without a doubt. Like, listen, he was a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Like, you had a player in Dallas that at some point he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he got you to the finals last year on a team that wasn't that good. Like, they were okay. He can be that key component. I don't know. And the question was, right, again, revenge. I don't know if he gets an ultimate revenge until the Lakers advance in the postseason and Dallas is out. So Dallas is still going to get in the play-in game. But
I don't see that happening either.
Right now, there's a lot of teams that, or a lot of, you go to Vegas, and Lakers are starting to become front runners to actually possibly get to the championship.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, but when you look at the competition out there, anybody could be upset at any point. I mean, when you look at that OKC team, that team is formidable, but there is still the fact that they don't have the experience to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to experience the pain in the playoffs, and I don't think they've had that yet.
Who's your 2 seed?
They lost last year, but it was not painful.
No. Who's your 2 seed? The Houston Rockets. Same scenario.
Yeah.
Right? So now you start to look at it. Your third is the Lakers. Luke has been to the finals. LeBron's been to the finals.
Yeah.
It starts to look
I start looking at them, and for whatever reason, Golden State is never out of it.
Never, right? The 6 seed, Denver. Maybe they figure it out. Maybe they want to play for this guy, and they and they have the experience too. That's how you start to look at it.
I mean, Coach Joker could bring them to the finals.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
Like how far-fetched is that? Is he really running the team right now?
I think without a doubt, he made that. He's making the calls. He's making the calls. He knew before the team knew that they were firing Malone. He's making the calls.
Had to have known.
He admitted he knew. He admitted he knew beforehand. They went to him.
Great player. I mean, I still can't fathom how great he is with what he looks like. So let me ask you this. Why does he get a free pass with that and Luka doesn't? They're always complaining that he's out of shape.
Because he still produces for his size and what you want Luka to do versus Jokic to do. Two different things.
Isn't it crazy?
But it's because you're looking at it and you're trying to get a position Luka's got to be like a point guard. He's got to be able to move. He's got to be able to do some things. And Jokic,
he still gets it done.
Yeah,
He still gets it done.
So I will say this, Ron. I'm going to read his stat line. So when we talk about revenge or even homesick, to your point, sometimes when you're playing where you're really comfortable, it goes pretty well. So he played 38 minutes. He's 16 for 28 from the field, 57 1 on the field goal percentage, 7 for 10 and 3-pointers, so 70%. 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals. He scored 45 points. 45 points in that game. I think he did all right.
I think it matters what shape he's in. I don't care. It might matter 10 years from now, but it doesn't matter right now.
Something. Listen, you change ownership. I think Mark Cuban not being
he's disgusted. Did you see him?
Yeah, but I don't blame him. He knows, he's been in the league long enough to know. Like, you only get those handful of players that are that
Mark
special.
Cuban would have never let that.
He wouldn't have got, no, without a doubt, it wouldn't have happened. And I think that's what you see when you change ownership. That's why Boston. I mean, granted, there's some kind of, it's like years over time.
Right. I worry about next season.
No, but they said I guess they're saying now it's like it's not an instant takeover. It's like basically next 5 years this thing happens or something. It's something crazy. Yes. So it's not like next year.
Keeping one guy on to teach them all the ins and outs.
I don't know, Ron, but
as soon as they figure it out, they're firing him.
Wow. All right, Ron, let's talk some Major League Baseball. Fine. All right, easy. You're all over Trump today, huh? Major League Baseball.
Well, he made a nice sweetheart deals for all his rich folks.
Vlad Guerrero Jr., he signed a big deal to stay with the Toronto Blue Jays. Which side won in this deal? So it's a 14,
both of them?
14-year deal, $500 million. He stays in Toronto now till 2039. I don't even know if we'll be around then.
So Vladimir clearly wins because, first of all, he's not in shape. He's never going to be in shape. You know, he's a little thick around the waistline. Wow. You know, is he going to be effective in another 5 years? That bat might be a little slow.
I don't know. Listen, $500 million. This is going to sound crazy. Is a deal. That's a deal. You think about what Soto got, right?
It's only like $75 million a year or something like that.
So this is not a bad deal for Toronto, honestly.
No, it's only.
It's only. But I will say this, Ron, for the first time, it's nice to see a homegrown player stay with his team. He's going to finish his career in one city, right? Like, you don't see that small market team. Like, this was Toronto clearly won this deal because there was enough suitors out there that wanted Vlad Guerrero. There was enough teams that would have paid Vlad, especially $500 million. Yeah. You don't think a team like the Yankees, I know you're going to laugh, but Boston or one of them, they weren't going to pay $600-700 million for Soto, but they would have paid $500 million for Vlad Guerrero. That's a steal.
Well, the Red Sox really wanted him.
Right? And I'm saying, if you told the Red Sox, you only got to pay him $500 million, they would have been on that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So this is a great deal for Toronto. It keeps him in Toronto, which I'm sure that's what he ultimately wanted to do, right? So now you think about his fan base and what he's going to mean. I thought that was a great thing because you don't see it anymore in sports. You always see these guys looking for the money.
Yeah, and the fact is, you know, he's in today's standards in baseball, which is even absurd to even say, he took less money to stay with his team, and he's not going to be able to spend $500 million. He's not going to be able to do it unless he buys a baseball team.
Or a really good sports podcast.
Now, with that being said, he could end up buying the Toronto Blue Jays some point down the line. It would not surprise me. I'm surprised more players don't do this.
Yeah, but you're talking billions. Billions. So his career, 3,199 at bats. He's batting 288 in his career,
Pretty good.
920 hits, 160 home runs, 480 runs, 512 RBIs, 20 steals. He's not a burner. We already said that, right? OBP 363, slugging percentage 498. So I mean, he gets on the bag. He makes things happen. 4-time All-Star, 1-time Gold Glove, 2-time Silver Slugger. Great deal for Toronto. I think they cleared one.
It is.
I mean,
And
he
I'm
won
happy
in
to
one
see it, to
aspect.
be honest with you. You know, I like that. I'm glad Toronto decided to pull the trigger and keep him.
Yeah, I will say this, Ron, and maybe I'm a little bitter, but the man right back there, I'm still a little bitter. Like, I would have loved to seen him play for one team his entire career. Like, this gives Vlad,
Yeah, I know.
to your point, like an opportunity. If he can hit 500 home runs and it's all with Toronto, like, how great is that? Barry Bonds, right? But he was with Pittsburgh, then San Francisco. You know what I mean? It's like you don't get to see these guys just do it their entire career.
You want a Carl Yastrzemski, you want a Joe DiMaggio, you want those guys to stay. You know, like
Till the very Cal Ripken Jr., the last 2-3 years of his career, not the same player, right? And he wasn't the Iron Man anymore after the streak was broken. He was missing games, but you still would not want to see him in a Chicago White Sox uni. Like, it wouldn't have looked right. It would have just been, it would have always stuck out to you as like, what the hell happened? Why?
Yeah.
So, no, really great deal. So I think both sides won in this.
Absolutely.
And the fans,
won.
The fans won.
The fans did win.
Right.
Congratulations, Toronto.
Right? Like, you get to keep your
You got
guy.
a good player.
Yeah.
You got a good
I'm
player
happy for them
that's going to be at least at the top of his game for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
At least the 5.
I think he's a little longer than that, but this guy, right off the cliff. All right, Ron, great MLB talk, but it is time for split decisions. Our split decision segment, basically, we give each other 2 more likely scenarios, and then we got to make a decision. You are first this week, Ron, so your first split decision.
You're going to love this one. All right, who is more likely to lead their new team to a Super Bowl win? Joey Bosa for Buffalo, DeAndre Hopkins for Baltimore, or DJ Reed for Detroit?
Joey Bosa. I think Buffalo's right now probably the favorite to go again. And
Bosa, though, my gosh.
So
as good as they were.
Well, they get rid of Von Miller and they replaced him with Joey Bosa. So I mean, to me, it's not I think a little bit of an upgrade. Because I think Von Miller
was already on his downslide.
Yeah. So I could see, again, health being a factor, but I would say Buffalo without a doubt. I just think they're better built, and we already know they pretty much got 6 guaranteed wins because of the AFC East, so that helps them there as well. Maybe a loss though. I don't know. Some team from this New England area might.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Never know. That's why they play the games, my friend.
That's right. But that's what I wanted to hear, because I really, I don't hate Buffalo. I love Josh Reed. I love him as a player.
Can I say this at this point? I just feel bad because, again, you lose 4 straight Super Bowls, right? You stink for all those years because of Tom Brady and not being able to do it. Then you finally get a team that, like, it's clear cut. Like, you should be right? Now you run into Mahomes and you can't beat Kansas City. Like, there's always something. And I'm like, it'd be nice to just, like, let him win one. Like, there's, like, this cruel football god out there that just, like, no, almost. You ever see those commercials? The guy he had the fishing pole with the dollar bill, and they were trying to grab the bill and be like, oh, almost got it. And it's like, that is literally the Buffalo Bills every year now.
It is.
You're like, they're right there.
It is too bad. And they've had some great players.
And I will say this, DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think's a big factor for Baltimore. If they get there, it's not going to be because of him, because we already saw he's on the decline as well. So I don't like that. And Detroit, I think with all the coaching changes, they're not going to be the same team. So you lose your offense and defensive coordinator in the same year. That's usually.
I just wanted you to hear you say Buffalo.
Buffalo? Oh, I don't mind Buffalo at this point. Listen, I'm a realist. I know where New England stands. If you said the Jets or something, I don't care. I don't care
that stuff with Tyreek Hill. Oof.
Yeah, thanks. Maybe I'm going to talk about that later. My first split decision for you, my friend. Of these three last place teams, which is more likely to make the postseason? The Chicago White Sox, who are 2-10, the Atlanta Braves, who are 3-9, or the Colorado Rockies, who are 3-9?
Wait, what was the first team again?
The Chicago White Sox, who are 2-10.
I'm going to say Atlanta.
3-9.
Well, Chicago always trades everybody, so
in the White Sox.
And Colorado, no, they're not going to do anything.
Well, they're in the West, NL West. I highly doubt.
Yeah, that's not happening.
And I agree with you, because Chicago, the worst record last year in Major League Baseball history, maybe they're going to try to beat it this year. So there's an opportunity.
Yeah, and they gave up Crochet, so they lost one of their best pitchers last year. They have that other guy, though. He's pretty good. I don't remember his name, though.
All right. Yeah, Braves, though, not looking good right now. Just.
No, but I think they'll right the ship.
I don't know. I think there's some.
You lost a great pitcher, though. I mean, that hurts.
There was some stat, too, that it was like if you were 0-7 or whatever, no team 0-7 has ever made the postseason. So I don't think any of these teams are making it, but Braves probably have the best odds. Probably best. All right. Your second split decision, Ron.
You're going to love this one.
Oh, boy.
Who will more likely win the Conn Smythe for playoff MVP?
Oh, you're already going to playoffs. All right.
Plus minus leader Ryan Donato.
Okay.
For the Tampa Bay Lightning. Goals against leader Connor Hellebuck. Assists leader Nathan McKinnon. Or goals leader Leon Draisaitl.
I don't think Edmonton goes as far, so I'm taking Draisaitl out. I think they had their chance last year. Tampa Bay, it's a tough one because the experience, but I don't think Tampa gets there either. Which leaves Hellebuck and
Nathan
McKinnon. Colorado playing really good. I would go McKinnon, believe it or not. I'd say McKinnon. I think Colorado may make a run here in the West.
Okay.
And Winnipeg always chokes every year. Which is interesting because my second split decision is also NHL. Ron, who is more likely to finish as the NHL points leader? Nikita Kucherov, who has 116 points, or Nathan McKinnon, who has 116 points?
Wow, that is so tough because they're both great players. I gotta say, though, it's gotta be. I would give it to McKinnon.
Clean sweep from McKinnon here. There we go, buddy. McKinnon. If you're in Vegas, put money down on McKinnon because we just both basically, right?
So does this mean that Colorado's going to win the Stanley Cup? Did we just predict that?
I think we may have. You know what we need to do, Ron, is an NHL playoff preview show.
Yes, we do need to do that.
That we haven't.
Are you available at all?
I'm sure I can make it happen. We can make
Saturday morning.
We can make it happen. We'll look at the timing.
Afternoon.
We'll look. All right, Ron. We're going to talk some more NHL here. And a record has been broken. Alex Ovechkin is now the all-time goal scorers leader at 895 goals. What do you think of his accomplishment?
I think it's actually pretty incredible. because when you start looking at how you have to do it, in order for this record to fall, you have to play 20 years averaging 45 goals a season. First of all, it's hard enough to play 20 years in the NHL. It is a tough game. You have to be pretty lucky with injuries, and you have to be durable. And apparently, this guy is very durable, and he is a pure goal scorer.
Yeah, okay. Christmas card lost because this record's crap.
How is this crap?
Because his number is ridiculous when it comes to so I looked at it, Ron, and I said, okay, Ron, you're right. 1,488 games now, but it was 87 when he broke the record. Same as Gretzky. Awesome. Gretzky did it in 5,088 shots versus 6,854. The man almost showed 2,000 more shots at goal.
Yes, but
it's garbage.
I understand that. Look, even the time.
Ron, if Ron shot this, if Gretzky shot if Ron shot the same amount of shots, he would have been it. If Gretzky had shot the same amount of shots, 1,800 more shots, Gretzky would have had probably 1,500 goals. Come on. Like, come on.
Look, I am not doubting that. I'm not doubting that. Gretzky is like 10 times the player as Ovechkin. He's the great one, right? He is the best all-time player. You can't even argue anything. And I don't care. Like, I always thought Mario was probably a better player, but you didn't stay healthy. You couldn't last. And that's a big part of doing this. And that's why when we had this as a segment last week with the split decisions, I was like, who is more likely to do it? I don't think there's a player in the league right now that can do it.
There isn't. It'll never be broken. Or at least, again,
it'll be broken.
So, Ron, the crazy part of this, Wayne Gretzky beats Gordie Howe's record 31 years to the date. 31 years later, Ovechkin beats. So, in the next 31 years, somebody will do it. We haven't gotten that player yet.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at it, it's like the only one that stays healthy that is a goal scorer right now is Pasternak. Everybody else is too brittle.
I don't think whoever's going to break it's in the league.
Can do it.
He's not in the league right now.
He's not. The player is not in the league right now.
So here's another reason why I think it's crap. So all you Alex Ovechkin fans are going to be like, Eric's crazy, whatever. He doesn't know, right? Plus 60 for Alex Ovechkin. Wayne Gretzky. Plus 520. It's not even close. Like, this guy doesn't even make an impact. He shoots almost 2,000 more shots. That's the only reason why he's even accomplished this record. Take away 1,800 shots from Alex Ovechkin. He's Sidney Crosby. There you go, Ron.
Finally, I hear it. Finally.
Come on. Like, I can't believe people like it's an accomplishment, and I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if you take it and you really break it down, he should get 895 because again, it's not even close.
It makes you really appreciate players like Mario Lemieux, like Bobby Orr, like Jaromir Jagr, Steve Yzerman. It makes you really appreciate those players because they put up those numbers, and they still can't touch
not even close
the player that Gretzky is.
Not even
He's
close.
got more assists than anybody has total points.
Not even close. But Ron, in usual Eric fashion, I want to have a little fun with this too. So I wanted to look at some of the other records that are out there that'll probably never be broken in our lifetime.
Shutouts.
All right. No, couple different sports here. But for points, Ron, Wayne Gretzky has 2,857 points in his career.
It's insane.
Do you know who the active leader is currently?
Yes.
Sidney
That
Crosby
would be Sidney Crosby.
at 1683.
He's not even close.
He's not even going to touch it. It's not even it, right?
No.
Touchdowns all time in the NFL, Ron. Jerry Rice, 208 touchdowns. Do you want to know who is the active leader currently in touchdowns, or can you take a guess?
Taking a guess. Oh God, I'm gonna say. Ooh, could it be Travis Kelce with 77?
No, it is Derrick Henry with 111. 111. That is not getting
He's
broken.
not doing it.
So again,
that's just craziness.
Stolen bases, Ron, in Major League Baseball. Ricky Henderson, 1,406 stolen bases in his career. Do you know who the current leader is in Major League Baseball?
No.
You're not going to get it. Sterling Marte with 355.
He's got maybe 3 more years.
Ricky's record's pretty good. I think it's pretty safe.
He was amazing. And they have it easy now. You can't even throw over there.
Yeah. Rebounds.
If Ricky was playing today, he'd have 5 stolen bases every game.
Every game. Rebounds per game. 24.87 rebounds per game. Bill Russell, all time. Do you know who the current leader is?
I would say it has to be what's his face from Minnesota.
Rudy Gobert?
Yeah.
No. Nikolai Jokic, right? Think about
what
he puts up, right? 12.26 rebounds per game. I think Bill Russell's record's pretty safe. He's
like when you read the stat lines from back then, you know, those players would have like 30 points with 25 rebounds nightly.
I think Will Chamberlain averaged 50 points in a season one time. 50 points.
Yes, he did.
Like, what is going on? Yeah. But I just wanted to have some fun. I think those are records that'll never be broken.
Yeah, there's tons of them. There's a lot of them.
Let me rephrase that. It'll never be broken in our lifetime, right? Those are 30 plus.
A lot of them can't be broken. When you talk about, first of all, like strikeouts, nobody's going to hit 5,000. You'll be lucky if you get another player to hit 3,000.
Not the way they pitch nowadays.
Nobody's going to get the shutouts. Nobody's going to get the complete games. It's just not going to happen anymore. It's just not. And the game has changed in every sport. Every sport.
Insane. So much fun. But congrats to Alex Ovechkin, right? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You did
see
something
you in about 2 decades, 3 decades.
So it took you, almost 1,800 more shots. But, I mean, good job. All right. And on that note, we are going to move on, Ron, to our pick and roll.
It's time for Pick and Roll.
All right, tonight's Pick and Roll always has a theme to it. And you go, why 87? Because 8 plus 7 equals what? 15. Episode 15. These NFL players all wore 87 in their career. Willie Davis, Rob Gronkowski, Cloud Humphrey, Travis Kelce, Keenan McCardle, and Reggie Wayne. He seems to be on a lot of our lists lately.
Wait, what? Reggie Wayne?
Yeah. Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne. Yeah.
Reggie Wayne. He's a Wayne brother.
It was like one of the Wayans brothers.
He's one of the Wayans brothers now. Let's rank them from 6 to 1, Ron. You are first this week, so you will have your start, and then I will give everyone the correct pick and roll. We are not going to see eye to eye on this one.
I don't think so. And if we do, that's amazing. Number 6, I have Keenan McCardle. 209 games played, 883 receptions, 11,373. And keep this number handy, 12.9 yards per reception.
Mm-hmm.
63 touchdowns, 1 Super Bowl, 2 Pro Bowls. Number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid receiver.
Good player. Yes. Agreed.
Number 5, I have Claude Humphrey. 171 games played, 2 interceptions, 11 fumble recoveries, 130 sacks. Pretty impressive. And also had a touchdown. He is a Hall of Famer, 6 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pro, and a Defensive Player of the Year. Number 5.
Okay.
These are all good players, by the way.
They were. Every one of them.
Because I don't have to insult, the list, because this is a good list.
It was.
Number 4, I have Willie Davis. 162 games, 2 interceptions, 22 fumble recoveries, 99.5 sacks, 1 touchdown, a Hall of Famer, 2 Super Bowls, 5 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pro, and 5 NFL championships.
So 7 titles, but...
Yeah, but I don't really...
now we're not going to count those. Okay.
No, it's just not as impressive because less teams and not as good.
Oh, okay.
But still impressive.
Oh, okay.
Number 3, I have Reggie Wayne. 211 games played, 1,070 interceptions, 14,345, 13.4 sacks per, 13.4 yards per carry, 82 touchdowns, 1 Super Bowl, 6 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. And that was a tough one. I'm still not sure if I wanted Reggie Wayne ahead of number 2. Number 2 is Travis Kelce. 1,004 receptions.
Get the hell out of there. Go ahead.
12,151 yards. 12.1 yards per reception, 77 touchdowns. 3 Super Bowls, 10 Pro Bowls, 4 All-Pro. The reason why I don't have Travis Kelce number 1 are those touchdowns and the yards per reception.
Such a homer.
And I think Rob Gronkowski also was a better blocker.
Okay. Oh, now we're looking at that fact. Well, I like it. I like where you're going with this.
That was important.
Keenan McCardle could block. He should have been higher than 6 then, if that's how we're looking at it. But go ahead.
Number 1, I have Rob Gronkowski because I truly believe he is the best tight end of all time.
Sure.
I know he played less.
A lot less.
When you're talking about 56 less games, but that yards per reception was important because Gronkowski dragged players an extra 5 yards all the time. Okay. When you look at that eyeball test, he was just a beast, and he would make more out of the yards than what was given. And having the most touchdowns, playing the least amount of games out of all of these players was enough. And 4 Super Bowls on top of that.
Okay.
5 Pro Bowls and 4 All-Pro. Most of the time, he couldn't be in the Pro Bowl because he was too busy going to Super Bowls.
Okay. All right. So let a normal person with some kind of sense make.
He's better than Travis
He is
Kelce
not number 1 on this list at all. But okay, I will agree with you. At number 6, I had Keenan McCardle. Again, very solid career, but 209 games. So you look at the numbers, you go, okay. At number 5 for me, Rob Gronkowski. With
come on.
621 receptions, average.
I don't care.
That's average. 9. You go by the numbers. He didn't get 10,000 yards receiving. Yes, he had very good touchdown numbers. 5 Pro Bowls, 4 Pro Bowls, 1 comeback. Yes, the 4 Super Bowls, but I'm going to take into account that he had the best quarterback in NFL history. So I gave him at 5. At 4, Claude Humphrey. 130 sacks, Ron's pretty damn impressive. 6-time Pro Bowl. We just talked about guys right now. He had more sacks than Myles Garrett, who you think's a great TJ Watt. This guy had more sacks. 6-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All-Pro, and a Defensive Player of the Year. put some respect on him. Reggie weighing at 3, I agreed with you there. Again, very impressive when you come 14,000, but a lot of games. I went Willie Davis with his 7 championships. I will count them because they count. 7 championships, 99.5 sacks, 5-time Pro Bowl, 5-time All-Pro,
no clue.
2-time Super Bowl champion, and 5-time NFL. And then Travis Kelce has to be number 1 with 1,004 receptions, 400 more than Gronk.
So if you have one spot on your team and it's a tight end, you're taking Travis Kelce over Gronk?
Who's going to play more games, who's going to get me more receptions, who gets me more yards.
You're taking Travis Kelce over Gronk?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I loved Gronk, but he wasn't there half the time. And his numbers show that. I don't even
think Kelce would be number 2 on my tight end list.
So, again, you'd have a guy that wasn't going to play for you anyway. He didn't play, Ron, enough, Gronk, for you to put him at number 1.
Absolutely. Those touchdowns tell me so.
Okay, so
92 touchdowns.
So 400 more receptions in 30 games. 30 games.
92 touchdowns, Eric.
You're talking about
over 77.
Ron, 175 games for Kelce, 143 for Gronk. That's only 30 games more.
Take those touchdowns.
That's 30 games more to have 400 more receptions. 400.
Yep.
400.
Yeah.
And 3,000 more yards.
Yeah.
The production is there. Just because of the touchdowns, Kelce's more productive. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Do your average
Wait. What tells you the winner of games?
Championships.
No, the winner of games. Scoring more is important.
You are captain.
That's
average
how you win
everything.
Games.
You just did the Seattle Supersonics and did the average. Do the average on how many receptions per game does Kelce get over Gronk? How many yards more than Gronk?
But what is he making of it? As he's not making as much out of it than Gronkowski. Gronkowski just dominates.
Gronk had 1 more championship. The same amount of All-Pros and 5 times more Pro Bowls.
All right. That's fine.
So you're off your rocker.
No, you're the one that's off your rocker. You have him at
homer.
5.
You straight homer.
5.
You're just homering it. If you look at the numbers, his numbers
he's the best tight end of all time. It's not even
based on your eyes, not his numbers. Not his numbers, your eyes. His numbers stink.
And my eyes aren't lying about this one.
His numbers stink.
His numbers don't stink. 92 touchdowns does not stink.
621 receptions. And you're putting him over a guy that has 400 more in 30 more games.
Yes, I
400.
am. Yes,
that's more than 10 receptions per game. Okay.
How many times does he attract more than one player that other players are now like Edelman? How many receptions did he gain because Gronk is on the field? A lot.
Mm-hmm. Tyreek Hill never got catches. None of these guys get catches because Kelce takes them all. No. Kelce.
He does take them all. That's why they lost. Because that's all they had.
3 championships. He won 2.
That's why they lost against Philadelphia. They exposed Kansas City because they just force-feed Kelce. And that's how they lost.
Sure.
That's how they lost. And the other guys can't get it done.
400 more receptions.
Yep.
All right.
I'll take Gronk over anybody.
Okay. It's prediction time, my friend. And let's bring up that chart. That was a great week last week. 60-54, 60-55, 6-3 last week. Hugo chimed in with a 6-3, back to 500 there. And Chakra last week,
Hugo.
Right, got in there to 66%. If you are joining us live, let us know who you think are going to win these games. We will add your name to the chart, and you can see if you can beat us. You can win prizes based off of your ranking here. See how you do. So,
gotta be the top dog.
Top dog. So, Ron, with that, we're going to start off in the NBA, and we've got the Detroit Pistons at the Milwaukee Bucks, and that is on April 13th. What do you have?
Where's my pen? Detroit Pistons at Milwaukee. You know what? I'm going Detroit.
Okay. Listen, I like Detroit. I think they've shocked the world this season, right? But Giannis right now is unstoppable. They've won 6 straight games. I think they're in playoff mode already. So I went Milwaukee at home. I like that.
I went underdog in this. I just have a feeling that
they're
gonna be lackluster.
And you're going to start to see, this is where these get tricky because some of these guys will start to sit because the postseason's coming up. So
yeah,
depending on that, you may see Detroit with their normal starting lineup and Milwaukee without. On April 13th as well, we've got the Los Angeles Clippers at the Golden State Warriors. This is a big game because positioning.
This is huge.
Clips could fall to 6 if they lose. So I'm going LA. Again, we don't know. So I'm going Clippers here. I'm going Clippers here because they need this more. Kawhi's playing better. He's healthy. Harden's playing well right now.
I'm going Golden State. I'm hoping that Curry is in for this one because this is important. They need to win this game to get into the top 6. They need this win.
All right. April 12th, we're on tomorrow. You got the Colorado Avalanche at the Los Angeles Kings. Who do you have?
This is another good one. I'm going Colorado. I think it's not likely NHL players sit out for any reason.
So the best home record in the NHL, Los Angeles Kings have only lost 5 games all season. They are still making a playoff push too to make sure that they belong. I'm going the Kings here at home. If this was on the road, I'm definitely going Colorado. But at home, the way the Kings play there,
we've already get 3 predictions. We're already up on all.
Yeah, this has never happened. So we'll see if we continue here. On April 15th. Got the Florida Panthers at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Again, we're talking about positioning. I think both these teams are a point.
It's going to say who's going to have home ice. So. And I'm going to go with Tampa Bay on this one at home. Because it's that close.
Yeah, I went Tampa Bay as well. I think there's, to your point, the experience in Tampa Bay. Florida's still trying to work out some of these trades. So it could come back to bite them. All right. We got Major League Baseball, Ron. The Chicago Cubs, who are in first place, 9-6 at the Los Angeles Dodgers, 3-game series. So obviously somebody's going to win at least 2 or 3.
Life, back to reality.
Dodgers are in third place right now.
Yes. And reality is going to strike, and LA is winning that series.
Okay. I went Cubs here. You know who scored the most runs in Major League Baseball?
Yep.
Chicago Cubs. 90-something runs. Like they are dominating right now. So I think they can do this.
They're a guy that's 3-1. He's got an ERA that is like 5.
And they're
still winning. But
Crazy.
That's going to end.
Okay. April 12th, Major League Soccer, the Austin Football Club at Vancouver Whitecaps Football Club. I went Vancouver at home here. I like teams that have names. I think I've done.
Yes.
They actually have a name.
They actually have a name, and I went with Vancouver too. I'm just thinking back to when they were like vying for like the championships.
Yeah.
So I think they're a good team. I think it's a solid franchise, and I think they're going to win that game.
DC Defenders at the St. Louis Battlehawks on the 13th round. UFL action, United Football League. Who do you have? Both these teams are 2-0.
Yeah. I'm going to go Battlehawks at home. I think that's going to help them. So I went with home team on that. I think that makes a big difference in the UFL.
Yeah, agreed. I went Battlehawks as well. Actually considered right now the favorites to win the whole thing. So playing really well. All right, Ron.
Not counting my Stallions out.
April 13th, this Sunday, the Ford City 500 in Bristol. We need a top 5 driver. last week we picked number 3. We all had the same driver, so great job to us. I think that's like 4 straight top 5 drivers that we've picked. So looking forward to getting another one here.
Yeah, I'm going Christopher Bell. He's
Okay,
been
good one.
he's been racing great this year, and I think he's going to take the checker flag.
I was so close to going Chris Bell, but I went Kyle Larson.
I almost fit with him.
And I almost went with Bell, so it's kind of funny. So we'll see how that turns out. But I think one of those two are definitely going to be in the top 5 for sure. Hopefully one of them wins it.
I think both of them are going to be in the top 5.
Hopefully one of them wins it. But let's, Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, let's talk to everybody out there about how they can become a sponsor of Sports Unfolded, get their names all over our show, and get thousands of eyes and ears on their business.
Yeah, the first thing you need to know, Eric, you can sponsor the show. Your ad will be here. We will read the ad, so not only will people see it, but it will be heard on the audio version for Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, and many more. So send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out the media kit, and all the information that you'll need to know is on there. And Eric, like I say all the time, it's like going to your local coffee shop and buying a hot coffee today, because it's been a little chilly around here lately.
New England's a little
buying
crazy.
a hot chocolate or a hot coffee, and you can pair it up with a nice glazed donut, whether it's chocolate or a plain glazed. Get both. Why not? It'll still cost less than that if you even throw in the extra donut.
Yeah, listen, we love to have people sponsor us, support our show, like, share, follow as well. All our social media platforms, from Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, MeWe has been great for us as well. So again, tell your friends. We're on every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can have them join the chat. Let us know your opinions on all of the topics as well. And our prediction segment, where you can also get your name and see if you can beat one of us to win some prizes. But Ron, with that, it is final thoughts time. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. You are first today, so love to hear your final thoughts.
Yeah, I was gonna do it with Ovi, and I decided, you know what? Let's talk about the Boston Bruins just for a minute. Don Sweeney was in between periods the other day talking about, we need them to play hard, and blah, 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 blah. It's tough to really play hard when you're outmatched. Really difficult. Okay. Now, I remember I pleaded with Don Sweeney last week, saying, please bring up the kids. We need to see how they play. Well, he kind of listened. He brought up Duran, played his first game, played well, looks promising, right? No offense, but looks promising. Minton is up. The guy they got from Toronto in that Brandon Carlo trade, he looks really good. So that is promising. And Lysell has turned it around, and his last 3 games, he's really starting to show some good skill on the offensive side of the game. And when it comes to that defense, Lowry is got to be the worst player in the league right now. He hasn't learned a thing all year long. Hasn't learned anything. Every game, he gives up the puck at least 4 or 5 times. He is a train wreck in their own end. Train wreck. But Donnie, why haven't we seen Patra up here? That's the guy that you need to see what he can do, because he's shown some offense, and yet you still refuse to bring him up, and you still play these crappy players like Letary, Brown, you know, and there's an Kepke who gets lucky once in a while and gets a goal because it hits his ass or something. Like, they're not going to be if they're on your team next year. Like I said, I won't watch you. Won't watch. I'd rather watch freaking Utah.
Hockey
Get
club.
off your ass. Get those guys up.
They got to get a name too. Okay, Ron. Let's thank again 99.1 WDJY Dallas, Georgia for your support, as well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island, and SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12, and your support. Ron, my final thoughts.
Oh,
I have to.
Thoughts.
I'm gonna start off with the positive one and then go to the negative one. But I want to congratulate Gino Auriemma, who I don't think gets enough credit as a head coach. 12th championship, competed in his 24th Final Four. And it's not easy to do in college anymore, right? We get the transfer portal and all these different things that factor in. And the fact that he was able to do it again in Connecticut, great accomplishment. $2.4 million a year. That's all he makes. Like, if you think about what he's brought to UConn, grossly underpaid, because if this was a men's program, he'd be making a lot more. So I think it's really time. It's really time for these sports to start to look at the women's game and really get that fair, competitive salaries for all. Got to
bring in the tickets,
right? It's crazy. And then on my negative, I did want to bring up the Tyreek Hill finds himself in hot water again after police were called for a domestic dispute.
I was going to steal it on you.
Can I just say that at some point when you're known more for the things off the field than on the field, you become a liability to any team. Granted, one of the fastest players in NFL history, right? We know all of the great things he can do. This guy is a complete D-bag. He is just consistently had issues with, if it's not with the police, it's, punching people, breaking people's, ankles because they beat him in a flag football game in his backyard. Dude, you're not that good.
That was a female, by the way.
Yeah. Like, it's not even worth having him on your team. There was a lot of talk about trading him and going to different teams. I don't think any team really wants him. I wouldn't want him as a Patriot fan. I'm sure there's a lot of teams out there that don't want him based on the fact that this guy is just not a role model for anyone. And he's got like 12 kids by like 9 or 10 different women. So on top of it, I mean, any state he goes to, he seems like he has to procreate, which is absolutely scary to think about. And the funny thing is, they're saying this argument started because his wife at the time, who has now filed divorce, said that he wasn't spending enough time with his kids. I wonder why.
Right.
Maybe because he's too busy trying to make more. So, you know what? Whatever happens with Tyreek Hill, I really hope that, he's out of the league. The NFL needs to suspend him because I think there's been too many consistencies with this guy now at this point where he needs to be banned from the game for at least 8 games, in my mind. At least half the season, because he's not learning his lesson. So, Tyreek, that's my opinion. Everybody out there, that's my opinion. But I want to thank you, Ron, for a great show, as always. I want to thank everybody that's watched us live. Even if you didn't chime in, we're glad that you watched us. And we ask that you like, share, support our show by following it and then making sure that you tell all your friends to come join you and us every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting and Sports Unfolded. In every single show, Ron, we ask for the same thing, and we're going to get it at some point, and that's peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.